pace with control of this race. Here comes a run from Davey Hazard. He blocks the 10. Not going to be enough. Ryan Pace is going to win at Talladega.
Curry trying to hold off Wilson. He's done a good job so far. Wilson, one last desperate attempt to the bottom. He won't get there. Nick Curry wins at Bristol.
Coming out turn number 2, coming down the back straightaway here. Looks like he's in a class of his own right now.
Merzlak, one final time, get around the 55, big time send.
He hits the wall, he hits it, he gets the lead, but can he hang on to it? Oh my goodness, he made it to the line!
Big push down the backstretch is going to give him a good run through the corners.
Just a little bit
follow from the 1.
A little bit of contact there for second, but coming to the line, Toby Roberson's going to take home the checkered flag and victory here from the new Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Before I wrap things up here in this segment, your thoughts on the type of race we're going to see tonight? And I would have to agree.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to tonight's feature presentation of Excel Racing's New Smyrna Speedway, Night 3 here from New Smyrna Speedway. Hello and welcome in, folks. As always, I'm your host, JoeTowNetwork. Joining me up here in the booth tonight for the second consecutive one for our second consecutive doubleheader. A lot of twos up here. The one and only Mr. Ricky Collette. Ricky, welcome back to the booth. We got 2 more great races on tap for the fans at home.
2 more great races tonight here, Joe. Going to be a fun one with you here. A little 40-lap dash with these guys with some Saturday night short track street stock machines. Then we are going to double it up with a, what was the length, 100 laps?
Got 40 laps here in our first feature of the night, and then our late model race later on going to be 60 laps. So 100 laps of racing action total here tonight for the fans at home.
All right, well, there you go.
This, of course, is your Auto Sim 2 race preview. Remember, Auto Sim 2 now available on Steam for purchase. Again, race number 1 with these street stocks going to be 40 laps around this beautiful little short track. We'll have the late models later on tonight, Ricky. And tonight, a little bit different than the last couple nights. We've been running GNS Physics to kind of peel back that curtain for the fans at home with these street stocks CTS Physics. It means they're about a second slower. What else does it mean for these drivers?
Well, they're about a second slower, and the handling characteristics are a little bit different, Joe, than what they're running with GNS. I might be a little incorrect on the assessment on this. I think the GNS and the trucks are a different wheelbase. I might be wrong on that, but they do handle a little bit different. The trucks are probably a little bit snappier, and don't have as much power, like you said. Less downforce. These guys are going to be wheeling these things just a little more around this place. Kind of like they're actually running street stocks out there. But it like you said, it is going to change up how they're running this track a little bit. They're not going to have that power off. The car is going to behave differently going into the turn through the middle of the corner. You're not probably going to be kicking it out as much coming off the turn with the power that they have right now and the way these cars are set up. So they're going to handle a little bit differently. These cars are a little smaller, it looks like, out there, so if all the hit boxes prevail on that, then it should be a little bit closer contact racing. But for the most part, that's kind of where the differences are going to be the most pronounced for tonight. CTS and GNS have other differences, but that's primarily, how they handle in the draft, and this isn't really a fast enough track for that to be relevant.
And we've seen throughout the week so far, everyone letting kind of running on that ragged edge, as you mentioned there. And we talked with drivers like Chris Rogers down in the garage area who won the first race last night. He kind of validates exactly what you said, Ricky. Car's a little more planted in the racetrack. You're not slip sliding around here as much as you are with the GNS Physics with the modifieds last night, with the Dirt 55s in the second feature race, or the late models on Monday night. So, you get the best of both worlds here tonight. You're going to get CTS Physics in this first race. See Tate Dorsey there in that number 4, the Mustang there. And then you'll get the GNS Physics later on this evening with the late models. Again, folks, can't thank you enough for tuning in. Opening practice is running to its conclusion. We'll have qualifying up next. And Ricky, the other big thing about this week, of course, is that overall points championship for the week-long event. 6 races. Kyle Lawson currently leads the way at 155 points with an 8-point lead over Chris Rogers. Steve Rogers only 134 points, so 21 points back. Brian Zapier further back, and Michael Berner also. That's your top 5 there. It's really looking like this week is this championship fight, Ricky, is going to come down to the 00 and the 6 once again.
Yeah, unless something really drastic changes, it's going to be one of those guys. It seems like this entire week everyone's been chasing Chris Rogers and also the 6 car of Lawson, with no one really getting an edge on the other all week. Those two just been in another time zone. So we'll see what happens tonight with this change of physics, if that helps kind of helps turn the tide a little bit.
See how it turns the tide if guys like Steve Rogers, Brian Zapier, Michael Berner can kind of climb their way up into the points and put themselves in contention tomorrow night for that modified 100-lap feature to end New Smyrna Speedway. Again, folks, can't thank you enough for tuning in. As always, we're here with Excel Racing, our coverage here on JTN of New Smyrna Speed Week. Make sure if you haven't already, drop a like on the video and subscribe. If you missed the first 2 nights of racing action, don't worry. Replays of those live streams are, of course, available right here on our expansive video library here on the JoeTowNetwork with a bunch of great sim racing action with not only Excel Racing, but all of our great league partners. Make sure you're checking that out at the conclusion of tonight's race. Get caught up with everything. And again, make sure you click those like buttons because that does so much to help support us here on JTN. Qualifying is underway. And while there's no cars on track, we're going to take a moment to step away and get a word from our partner, AutoSim2, again, which you now purchase on Steam. Have you ever wanted to manage your own racing team? Or what if you could go back in time to see if a particular season could have finished differently? Well, folks, have no fear because AutoSim2 is here. With fully customizable roster files, you can create your own world or try to recreate the past. Heck, you could even try to predict the future through AutoSim2's Sim Mode. Don't like the passive approach? Well, then get more hands-on in Owner Mode, where you decide who drives your cars and what companies will sponsor them. Down on your luck? Well, then scout some new talent that will get you to the top. Already super successful? Try moving up the ladder or expanding to truly solidify your racing empire. However you want to play, AutoSim2 has you covered and is now available for purchase through the Steam store for $9.99. Now go make your mark and build your legacy in AutoSim2. And again, folks, AutoSim2 now available on the Steam store. Again, that's AutoSim2. Just search it. Or you can go to our channel. We got a video taking you through an overview of all of the features of the game right here on JTN. You're going to see those qualifying results start to trickle across the top of your screens. Drivers just completing their laps. So Ricky will have the qualifying order, or starting lineup here in mere moments. Right now it's Chris Rogers on top of the board at a time of 17.141 seconds in his 00. Like only 6 of the 8 have taken a time so far here. Ricky, we haven't talked about it too much, but obviously back-to-back races, and tonight's the big night where it's going to be a bigger challenge than it was last night with both series we ran being the same physics at least. Back-to-back races, 2 different race cars. How much do you think these drivers are going to be able to take away from the street stock race that they'll be able to apply to the late models later on here tonight in that 60-lap race?
That's going to be a tough one, Joe. Because I've been running this track all week, I don't know if there's anything that the car's going to handle a lot different with these truck physics. I guess really maybe just what lines are good around the track. That's the only thing I could really think of off the top of my head, because we've already talked about it a considerable deal, but these physics are going to be a little bit different. The whole car is going to handle different in this one race, so it's going to be a little tighter, a little more planted, but it's also going to be slower, and it's going to be a lot more momentum based. It's like just I guess the best way to compare it is like it's like you're slogging around in like a boat in this race compared to
jet ski?
speedboat of the GNS versus like a I don't know, like a little fan boat or something. Like it feels clumsier. It feels like if as soon as you start losing speed, the whole thing falls apart. You're fighting a different handling characteristic, so I don't really think you're gonna learn a lot from these cars compared to the GNS physics for the next race. The only thing you're really gonna be learning is like I said, lines, but at the same time, we've already had 2 straight nights of GNS physics, so if you're not learning anything by this point with that, I don't think you're going to learn anything this week.
Well, Ricky, drivers out there for happy hour, why don't you take us through tonight's starting lineup?
With pleasure, Joe, from tonight's event here at New Smyrna, the first of our 2 races tonight. There will be 8 starters tonight, and on the pole at a time of 17.141 seconds is going to be the 00 car of Chris Rogers. Joining him on the front row in the 9 machine is going to be Michael Bernard. In the 3rd spot goes to car number 4, that can be piloted by Tate Dorsey. Brian Zapier in the 79 machine will be starting for the 4th spot, and rounding out the top 5 is going to be Steve Rogers in the 12 machine. Last car to take a time in qualifying tonight for this event will be Mike Rogers in the 11th. He will be starting for the 6th spot. And the last 2 cars in the field running tonight will be Kyle Lawson in the 6th car being chosen on 7th spot. And rounding out the field in the 95 machine, spot number 8 is going to be William Beecham. And that's going to be the starting lineup for tonight's first of our doubleheader here. Joe, interesting, Chris Rogers got the point there. Michael Berner up front here. Kyle Lawson not taking a time again, so I don't know if that's intentional, if there's a method to the madness here, or if Lawson just couldn't get a time in during that. But definitely going to be interesting because Lawson has been the class of the field with Chris Rogers all week.
Yeah, 2 wins, 2 poles in 3 races, right? Got swept the poles last night. In the 3 races, 1st, 2nd, 1st. And we know, we talked with him last night. Not as big of a fan of the shorter races that we're going to see this evening, but we really saw that 6 team excel in our 60-lap race, maybe compared to our 40-lap race. The strategy got away from them in the first race last night. They're going to be looking to kind of not double down on that mistake that they made last evening and hopefully make a better strategy call. I think they would admit that down there on the 6th box, but no Valvoline colors on the 6 either. Hensel's Garage there on that number 6. Look at that. Look at that wonderful drone camera we got. Weaver saying in chat, big time racing in all caps. He's yelling it. I'm not going to yell that into the mic because I don't think anyone wants to hear me scream. But hey, thanks for tuning in, Weaver. Always appreciate you. Again, folks, we got more great racing action coming up for you here on JTN this next week. First off, though, tomorrow night we wrap up New Smyrna Speedway here with Excel Racing, Richie Evans Memorial 100. Modified Tour, Stars Modified Series race. That is the TMP Super Cup Series from Myrtle Beach on Monday, February 13th at 8:55 p.m. Eastern Time. And the Bomb Squad Racing Cup Series makes their season debut at the Daytona International Speedway, 9:05 p.m. Eastern Time on February the 16th. Those races and much, much more, of course, live right here only on JTN. Pretty much, if you need some racing to watch, you'll be able to do so here on JTN. It's that simple, right, Ricky?
Yeah, just that simple. I don't know where you want me to take that, Joe.
I don't know. Cars getting lined up here on the grid. We await the command. Get engines fired here from New Smyrna Speedway for a first feature of the night, 40 laps with the street stocks. There we go.
Drivers, start your engines!
So the field rolls off the pit lane here. 8 drivers for 40 laps. Chris Rogers leading the way after posting a time of 17.141 seconds here to take the pole. Be Michael Berner to his outside, the number 9. Then it's Tate Dorsey and Brian Zapier there in row number 2. Row 3 has the 12 of Steve Rogers and the 11 of Mike Rogers. Rounding out your field of 8 tonight on row number 4, it's going to be Kyle Lawson and William Beecham in the 6 and 95 respectively. 40 laps here in our first feature of the night. Chris Rogers with control off of turn number 4. Waits for the green flag to be displayed. There it is. We're underway here. Night 3 in New Smyrna Speedway is green with the straight stocks.
Chris Rogers grabs the lead for the 9 of Michael Berner coming down the back straightaway here. Berner falling in line. You see the 4 right behind him, Tate Dorsey, actually locking up the tires a little bit. Didn't see that at all this week, these GNS cars, people locking them tires up, Joe, so that might be something to keep an eye out for. You saw him kind of do it again there. One thing to note, I've seen a lot of guys playing around with gearing. Some guys staying in 4th gear, but I'm seeing some guys shifting down as far as 2nd gear in the turns. So there's might be something to be gained there by downshifting with these cars, Joe.
And that 4 car is one of them that's downshifting, right? That's where we're getting the smoke from.
I think that is where we're getting smoke from. I don't think the tires. I think that car is locking it up on entry though.
Only 40 laps here in this first race, but I think you still want to manage your tires a little bit. Looking further back, Kyle Lawson, the number 6, again talked about it. He's your points leader going into this race. Red and white Ford there, looking to the outside of Zapier. Some contact sends the 6 up the hill, and he'll lose a spot to the 11 of Mike Rogers there off of turn 4.
Lawson's in a tough spot with this race because really, he's only got 40 laps to do this. This is a very quick race here. Gonna rattle by very quickly and not a lot of time to maneuver through these guys. Even if he has a fast car, we've talked about it all week, but you catch people here, no problem, but getting by them, it's like pulling teeth, and right now, not really moving along too quickly. Kyle Lawson is running around here lap 6 of 40 already in just a matter of minutes.
Top 3 have started to pull away from the rest of the field. Chris Rogers in the 00, Michael Berner there in the number 9, and Tate Dorsey in the 4, having a good start to this race here tonight. Good qualifying effort for team and driver number 4.
That Mustang just looks so teeny tiny, Joe, even compared to these Camaros.
You're not a fan of it?
No. I just think it's funny.
Okay, fair enough.
It makes sense, but it's just like, look, it's so tiny. Look at that little guy. Look at that little fella. I just want to tickle it.
Kyle Lawson tried to get to the inside of Mike Rogers there down into turns 3 and 4. Wasn't able to get it done. How much of a balancing act, too, Ricky, is it to, you could be aggressive trying to make a pass here early on. But we've talked about it, tire wear and management. It's really been the thing that's helped this 6 team through these first two nights of racing, is they've had superior tire management to everybody else and tire strategy in the races they won, and then the race where they finished second. Kyle said in his interview that he just felt like the strategy was what cost him, but now having to start towards the back and maybe having to push the issue a little bit, not willing to do that in rather trying to save the tires on this 6 and not really forcing the issue with the 11.
If it was a longer race, Joe, even if it was like a 60 or like an 80 lap race, I'd be like, yeah, absolutely save your tires and pick these guys off. But we're already at lap 11 of 40 here. We're already 10 laps away from halfway point. That's how quick this thing is. This whole event is going by very fast. Lawson really doesn't have a ton of time to be saving tires. Even if he does start to get an edge on these guys, and he sees all over the 11 going deep down into turn 3 there, but kind of hanging back on it. Even in that case, if he starts picking up on these guys a lot of time, he only has so many laps out there that he can play with. And if he was in maybe further up front, maybe like 3rd or 4th, I would say that would be useful for him to be saving his tires. But he is stuck behind a few guys here, and I think his priority has to be getting on by him. As you see the 11, Mike Rogers actually catching the apron there out of 3 and 4. That car looking like it's not handling great. Joe, these cars actually seem like they're over-rotating just a little bit more than I was expecting. That 4 has kind of showed it when he's downshifting, but the 9 of Michael Berner had a few moments the last time around where it looked like that car kind of got a little bit crab walky, as Kyle Lawson has made his way on by the 11, and underneath him, the 95 of Beecham is also getting on by Mike Rogers.
You see Beecham making the pass, moves up into 7th. Lawson now setting his sights on that number 79 of Ryan Zapier. Back up front, it's still Chris Rogers with the lead in the 00 Dover Break-In Clutch Chevrolet. Michael Berner sits there in 2nd. Berner Motorsports Chevy.
This is kind of what we saw last night too, Joe, is that the top 2 were really good and kind of just even out on lap times. It really is a question of can the guy in 2nd find anything to gain some time on the leader. Chris Rogers been running good laps. Michael Berner holding pretty much even with him on that. Fixed setup here, so it's kind of a matter of who can run that track a little better. I have noticed these cars aren't really washing up the turn as much as the GNS physics. They're able to hold a tighter radius around this track. I haven't really seen anyone really, get sideways coming off the turn up by the wall like we saw last night, as Kyle Lawson got by Brian Zapier. I almost said Brandon again. Brian Zapier last time by, moved his way up to that 5th position. This 6 car of Lawson's moving along, but still not running. He's still not really beating the lap times that the leaders are running, which I think is kind of hurting him a little bit.
And, I mean, a long way to go to get up to the next car. That's Steve Rogers in the number 12. Currently sits in the 4th position. Kate Dorsey still in 3rd, getting a little loose there off of turn number 4.
It's hard to tell what's going on with that 4 because we're talking about it. It's you really want to be like, yeah, this is like some explanation for it, but no, this is entirely NR 2003s that you're observing someone online. They get a little bit it gets a little bit janky, as it were, when people do things like clutch or shift. So it's hard to tell if Dorsey's actually lighting up the tires because if he's actually lighting up the tires because he's lighting up the tires, or if that's just because he's shifting gears and it doesn't know how to translate that. Because you can see it. It's always the exact same spot in the turn at an area that you really wouldn't be braking at. And that's right about when, as far as I'm seeing on the telemetry, when that car knocks down into 2nd gear. So, which also is probably a little delayed from where it actually is happening.
Can you tell that we're nerds up here in the booth? Talking about a guy shifting out there on track as Chris Rogers is putting on a clinic here. It's led from the drop of the green flag, coming to lap 25 of 40. Closing in on 10 laps to go. Like you said, Ricky, this one flying by here. Our first of our double feature here tonight on JTN. Still got late models later on this evening. That race going to be 60 laps for you folks at home. Gives us the opportunity, though, here to remind you, we got one more night of New Smyrna Speedway here with Excel Racing with the Stars Modified Tours Richie Evans Memorial 100. Coverage kicking off 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. Then it's TMP Super Cup Series from Myrtle Beach on Monday, February 13th at 8:55 p.m. Eastern Time. And February 16th, it's the Bomb Squad Racing Cup Series from Daytona International Speedway. Coverage kicking off for that one, 9:05 p.m. Eastern Time. And Ricky, after that, it's Daytona season.
Daytona season indeed. Gonna have a fun time that week. Got a lot of racing coming up. And we got a lot of fun things in store, don't we, Joe?
We have a lot of fun things in store. That's why you gotta make sure you're following us on our social media at JoeTowNetwork, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Everything, of course, linked down in the video description below. Also, check out the Fake Racers podcast. New episode just dropped today, talking about all things from the Clash. Join myself, Matthew Steelman, and Davey Hazard on that show. Matt actually went to the Clash this past weekend, so got some really good insights from him about his experience there. So again, go check it out. Now available over on JTN2, and we'll be posting clips here on the main JTN to kind of whet your appetite for it a little bit and give us a try. And you can also listen to us on all your favorite podcast platforms. Again, Fake Racers Podcast, Season 3, Episode 2, now out and available.
Joe, looks like we're already at 10 laps to go.
And of course, that means it's time for our TWV10 to go. The ad reads are coming quick here, folks. Head on over to GardenLightsDirect.com because from porches to patios to more, for all your outdoor lighting needs, they have you covered. Again, that's GardenLightsDirect.com here on our first of 2 TWV10 to goes tonight. think a lot of these drivers were willing to welcome a pretty tame race here after the craziness we saw in the first race last night.
Yeah, Steve Rogers, though, back here in the 4th spot, making a charge at Tate Dorsey on the inside. These two have been side by side running around this track. Dorsey actually doing a pretty good job of hanging tough there on the outside, but Steve Rogers is barely going to putter on by in that 12 machine. Right behind him, Kyle Lawson tracking these guys down, trying to make a move on Dorsey, coming up quick. These guys run some good lap times out there, but right now, Chris Rogers is just in a league of his own, a little too far away to really do anything here in these last 10 laps. Just a matter of trying to maximize points right now for these guys.
Tate Dorsey, who's been one of the more prolific shifters here in this race, runs 3rd for the most of the night, now falls back to 5th. Still a good outing for this 4 team, but after racing side by side with Steve Rogers for all those laps, Ricky, that's allowed Kyle Lawson to close in on the number 12.
Kyle Lawson now tracking down to the number 12. Might be able to move on past him here before the end of this race. Right there on the back bumper of that 12 machine as we have 5 laps to go in this race. Steve Rogers trying to defend on that. We'll see what Lawson does if he goes up high or down low. If Rogers keeps defending on that inside, that's going to really make it hard for Lawson to pass. But we saw with Tate Dorsey, it is possible to hang tough there on the outside. So maybe Lawson will give it a shot. Here he goes onto that outside line, going into 1 and 2. But the 12 just rotates a little bit better in the center, but the 6 gets a better run off. They are side by side coming into turn 4. Turn 3.
Side by side through turns 3 and 4 off of corner number 4. Lawson on the outside, going to have the momentum. 3 laps to try to get this pass done. Steve Rogers trying to hold off this 6 car for 3 more circuits here from New Smyrna to take home another podium here this week. Steve Rogers on the bottom, Kyle Lawson on the outside, this time at the line. It'll be 2 laps remaining. Just a mile left in our first feature of the night. 6 car gets a little tight there off the corner, makes some contact with the outside wall. Ricky, 2 to go.
2 laps to go. Kyle Lawson throws in deep on that eye line. Stays right even with the 12 of Steve Rogers. We'll see how that gives him a run coming down the back straightaway. Rogers does a great job of keeping that momentum up, though. Doesn't really let that 6 get an edge. Steve Rogers hanging onto that, coming across the line for the white flag.
This, of course, folks, the battle for the 3rd position. Chris Rogers in a league of his own out front in the 00. Off of turn number 4, he'll take home the checkered flag. We go back to this battle for the final podium spot. Drag race to the line, Ricky. It's going to be Kyle Lawson taking home 3rd.
Kyle Lawson just squeezes ahead of that 12 machine of Steve Rogers. That's really going to help him maximize points in this, especially since Chris Rogers winning the event is definitely going to close up that gap between the top 2.
Go on board with driver number 6 here for this last lap. Because what a heck of a drive from Lawson. This coming to the white flag. Up on top of the number 6, down here into turns 1 and 2. Runs really high, trying to get a wide arc there. Ricky then going to try to cut to the inside of this 12. Isn't able to get it done. Steve Rogers does a good job of guarding the bottom. Lawson then just sends it on the outside here through 3 and 4. 12 looks to get a little loose. Can't hit the gas there off the corner. Kyle Lawson able to take home the final podium spot there in a drag race back to the line. What a finish for 3rd.
What a finish indeed, Joe.
So Chris Rogers brings it around to the fans here on the front straightaway. He'll get to burn it down. Our first feature race winner of the night. Saturday Night Stock Car 1970 mod. Right? Isn't that the technical name for this mod, Ricky?
I thought it was 1970, not 1975.
Did I say 75?
Yeah, you said 75.
70.
71.
SNSC 70. Chris has it in chat. Look at that. Wins the race and is helping out chat. Love it. So Chris Rogers, your first race winner here tonight. We're going to get results on your screens here in moments, folks. We're also going to talk with our top 3 finishers. Let's go ahead and start by talking with our second place finisher. He's the driver of the number 9, Michael Berner. Michael, you got a copy?
10-4, I got a copy.
All right, race number 1 tonight. We talked about it with you after the second race last night. Finally got it. We're able to put together a really good run. You start off the night here. Is this that positive momentum we were talking about last night kind of coming to fruition here for the second half of the week?
I hope so. Just got to get the car a little bit better. It's not rotating the center the way I like to basically keep up with the rest of the pack, but we're getting somewhere.
Ricky and I we were talking about kind of, these races this week. Obviously, last night you're able to learn something in the first race with GNS Physics, and then the second race you're also running GNS Physics. Obviously, the car's a little bit different, of course, but what, if anything, are you taking away from tonight? Ricky made the comment, if you haven't learned it yet, you're probably not picking it up. Do you agree with that statement, or were you able to pick something up in this first race for our second feature of the night?
I picked up maybe a little bit of something, but different physics, going into the next race. But we'll see if I guess right.
Well, Michael, again, congratulations on the second place run here in race number 1. Before we let you go, though, I want to give you the opportunity again. Got a lot of great partners and sponsors. The floor is yours, buddy. You know what to do.
First off, I want to thank you guys again for broadcasting. I would like to thank my sponsors, Dean's Auto Repair. I'd like to thank Chris Rogers for giving us a place to race.
Again, Michael, cannot thank you enough for taking the time to talk with us after this one. Congratulations on the second place run, and good luck here in race number 2.
Thank you.
Michael Berner, he's the driver of the number 9. He's your second place finisher here in the Saturday Night Street Stocks series. Ricky, did I butcher that enough? Did I butcher saying the mod name enough? You think? Ricky's not even there. Wonderful. All right, let's go ahead and bring in
Talk about butchering it. I was muted by accident.
All right, well, let's go ahead and bring in our race winner. He's the driver of the 00. He gets another win here this week in the first race of the night once again. Chris Rogers. Chris, you got a copy?
Hey, I got you guys.
All right, race number 1 winner. We talked about it last night, kind of getting some good momentum. It looked like for the majority of that race, you were also going to be able to make a decent cut into Kyle Lawson's points lead. Still able to do so here with the win and him finishing 3rd and obviously leading the most laps. You led a lap, he didn't. Is this that one run that we've talked about that you need to be able to close that gap and kind of get back on even footing with the 6?
Would definitely help. We're definitely able to close the gap a little bit. I figured he was going to play this tire strategy a little bit. With the street stocks, they are a little bit tighter of a car, a little bit tighter of a setup. There's more of an ability to burn the right front off the car quicker, so I figured he was just kind of sitting back there waiting for that to happen. And guys really didn't fall off like we all expected them to. Everybody pretty much stayed, within striking distance of whoever they were racing. So, but him getting mauled back in traffic, it definitely helped my point situation. If we would have had a caution, it would have changed that entire race. But fortunately enough for me, we didn't. We maxed out on points, so it was a good start to tonight.
What's the outlook then for race number 2? Obviously, you start the night off right. You're going to want to finish it good. 60 laps. We saw last night the second race a little tamer than the first. Do you see things maybe playing out in reverse of what we saw last night, where maybe the second race is a little more hectic? Or do you think the boys down there on the track, they might have got all the jitters out in nights 1 and 2?
It's going to be interesting to say the least. The late models are a heck of a lot faster than these street stocks. So, you give these guys speed and, it can go either way. But, if we can make our way back to victory lane and go 2 for 2 tonight, that'd be awesome. Because then we could definitely have a really, really good shot at the championship rolling into tomorrow night.
Well, Chris, as always, again, congratulations on the win. But before we let you go, want to give you the opportunity. You got a lot of great things going on. The floor is yours, buddy. You know what to do.
All right, thank you very much. I got to thank these Dover Brake and Clutch guys. They brought out another amazing car, put a really good car under me. I got to thank all the drivers once again. They, like I said, everybody's starting to improve and everybody's getting really tough. To beat. Everybody's pretty much there in contention every night. I know we've been running this track, so they got enough practice on it. But even during the weekly stuff. Everybody's becoming tougher, so the competition's getting tougher, which is good. It's something I really enjoy. I enjoy racing with all them, and I appreciate them coming out every week. I got guys that have been with me for, I've been racing over here since 2009. I came over here, 2008. I came over here as a driver, and there's guys that have been here, just shy longer than me, and we've raced all together all the way through. So, I appreciate all the support that they give to the league. I got to thank you and Ricky, everything you do for us to showcase what we have here. We greatly appreciate JTN coming out and doing this for us. We really have a good time with you guys. Got to thank Andrew over at Track Connection and Streamline Graphics for everything he's done over the years. And as we wrap up every other interview, we just got to give a shout out to Dano and Kenny. We're always thinking about them. We wish they were still here racing with us.
Chris, as always, a pleasure to talk with you. Cannot thank you enough for your time after this one. Congratulations on the win, and good luck here in race number 2.
Thank you very much.
Chris Rogers, he's the driver of the 00. He's your race 1 winner here tonight. Let's go ahead and bring in our 3rd place finisher in a photo finish at that. He's the driver of the number 6, Kyle Lawson. Kyle, you got a copy?
Yep, I'm here.
All right. I'm going to ask you the question that we were wondering up here in the booth. How hard was it to pass? How patient were you trying to be there? And then what do you think maybe could have went different to maybe put you up there in contention to win this race?
Definitely qualifying would have made a difference, but I wasn't able to make qualifying, so I had to start the tail, and definitely hard to pass. You got to set them up to be able to knock them down coming off the corner. If you don't, it's a hustle coming off, and we got stuck in the back there for I think the first 10 laps or so, 15 laps, and a race like that, it's hard to make up that ground, and being able to make it a 3rd, I was happy with that.
Well, happy with the 3rd place finish. One thing that I've been impressed with all week from you behind the wheel of this car, really able to make the outside work to make passes without giving away all the secrets. What kind of goes into that? Is it about maybe being a little more aggressive on entry, trying to get a whole shot on exit? What's kind of how are you so good at making those passes on the outside when it seems like a lot of other guys out there are struggling?
Definitely track position, being able to set it up coming off the corner to where they can't float it up. If they come up clear to the wall, or be able to run it coming off the corner, you lose a lot of speed running that outside. It's you see them coming and you kind of hesitate, but you got to kind of lay back a little bit and let it float in, run that outside, and I mean, you got to be on the gas. You got to beat him back to the gas to be able to stay on the outside of him, and being able to get Steve on the outside, I didn't think I was going to do it, but watching him wobble, I'm like, oh, I might got him now, and luckily I was able to beat him, I think, by like a half a car or something. So I was happy with that.
Well, a thriller of a finish there for the 3rd spot, Kyle. Again, congratulations on the podium. Before we let you go, though, I want to give you the opportunity. You got a lot of great partners here on this 6 car. The floor is yours, buddy. You know what to do.
Yeah, tonight we run a different style of car, and kind of reminiscent of my real car in real life, Hensel Motorsports, Best Supply, Lawson Racing. That's what makes everything happen. That's what got me into racing, and we're just trying to carry it on through the game.
Well, Kyle, again, as always, cannot thank you enough for your time after this one. Congratulations on the podium, and good luck here in race number 2.
Thank you. Hopefully we'll see you after that race.
Hey, I mean, you're on a pretty good run at it, right? 4 in a row.
Let's hope.
Knock on wood. Kyle Lawson, he's the driver of the 6. He's your 3rd place finisher. Thanks, Kyle. And Ricky, that's our interviews. That concludes the interviews for race number 1. Now we move into race number 2. A little bit different for the folks at home.
Well, we're going to go back to GNS physics, so that means that we're going to go back to what these guys have been familiar with all week. A little more speed, a little looser on exit, a little bit more handling heavy on the back end of these tire runs, no shifting. It's going to be a little bit of a different beast for these guys, but the bright side, I think they're all ready for it. Interestingly enough, 60 laps here, probably going to be about the same length as the last race because we're running about a second a lap faster than what we're doing with the Street Socks.
And we talked about those results from that first race, right? Chris Rogers getting the win, gets the bonus points for leading the laps, leading the most laps. pole sitter as well, so able to kind of carve away at that points lead that Lawson had coming into tonight. It's going to be interesting to see how those two, because eventually they're going to meet on the racetrack. We've seen that all week, how they race each other here. Obviously, know there's going to be a lot of respect and whatnot. Don't want to make, that accusation, but interesting to see how hard they race each other here, knowing that there's only 2 races left to claim that New Smyrna Speedway championship.
I got about 10 minutes of practice here to pass some time, Joe. So how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Not really, but, for the sake of the broadcast, I'm doing well. I got that Florida swamp cold.
That's not good.
Yeah, it's not good. Got a pair of Valvoline cars out here tonight. Austin, of course, in his 6. Tate Dorsey in his 4. Pair of Fords, too. What kind of car is Tate driving, though? You're a little bit better with the headlights and taillights. It definitely looks different.
Hang on. Yeah, nice good old look. Joe, that is a Ford Thunderbird is what that is. You look up close, you can see the Thunderbird lettering.
Well, I can't see.
Well, then get glasses, blindy.
I do have glasses.
I'm sorry, that was offensive.
Yeah. And Ricky Collette has been, we're going to send Ricky to sensitivity training after that. Won't hear from him for a little bit.
Joe's going to pepper spray me after the broadcast.
This is what folks tune in for, is our banter. Just also wanted to give a quick shout out to Tate and his Nebraska Cornhuskers, because they lost to the Michigan Wolverines tonight on the basketball court here in Ann Arbor at the Chrysler Center. So just wanted to make sure I got that one in, because I saw him post Boo Michigan in chat.
Boo. Boo. I don't know where we're booing at.
College basketball, Ricky.
I don't know anything about that.
I know
I'll
you
just
don't.
go boo.
Any college basketball fans in chat, feel free to chime in with what your favorite team is or what your school is. Also, make sure if you haven't already, drop a like on the video and subscribe. Again, folks, that does so much to help support us here on JTN. It allows us to continue to grow this platform for all these drivers putting on some of these great races we've seen this week and all throughout all of our broadcasts here on JTN. Again, we got a wide collection of races as part of our video archive right here on our YouTube. Again, that's youtube.com/@JoeTowNetwork. Also posting shorts here on YouTube now as well with various race highlights. They tend to be a lot of crashes, Ricky, because the algorithm likes that for some reason, but no shortage of good racing clips from this week here at New Smyrna Speedway, so going to be able to sprinkle in some good racing clips here with Excel, of course, and again, that shorts feed also populated with some Fake Racers podcast clips, and just anytime we have funny ideas, we like to try to make videos and, have fun, so make sure you're checking out that shorts feed as well as our TikTok and our Instagram, because we'll post those videos on those platforms as well.
Joe, are you saying that it might like crashes? I would never. I would never.
Oops All Crashes Maverick Cup Series 2022 edition now available on JTN.
On the bright side, nobody gets hurt.
Yeah, it's sim racing.
So you can.
Lost in the wall.
You absolute sickos. You can root for your blood sport. What?
We wanna do like a special race with all of our leagues, and we're trying to think about what track. And if you have suggestions for tracks, you can put them in chat and kind of for what you'd like to see us do. We're always open for some input. There's contact there between the 9 and 79. 6 is gonna go into the wall. That's a crash. 6 is over. Hopefully Lawson's okay. Skidding down the back straightaway. There he goes. But like Bone Crusher might be kind of fun, right?
Ooh, Bone Crusher is a good old fun time.
Do you remember back in our fast days, there was a figure 8 track that we raced in like the Super Speedway series?
Yeah. God, I can't remember
It's not 8
what
Bowl.
track that was.
Is it? Because it had a bridge too, right? It had a bridge. So like you didn't actually cross in the center.
Yeah, I really can't remember.
Thought it was 8 Bowl. Yeah. Gotta be Coca-Cola Super Speedway. Yeah, if we can rebrand it, maybe. We're gonna make a JTN Speedway, and it's gonna be like some weird-looking road course in downtown Detroit or something, you know? That would be on brand for us. We could do a Clash at the Coliseum style of show.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Bowman Gray.
Oh, there you go. Have like a couple heat races.
Ooh. That would be an absolute slugfest, and that would be hilarious. We should do it.
Because the idea is to get drivers from all the leagues we work with and broadcast for, so...
You said Coca-Cola.
Tate did, yeah.
JTN Motorsport Park Raceway International Super Speedway. I like where Tate's head's at with this.
He's also second on the board right now in that 4 contact there. 95 of Beecham into the outside wall. And work in practice here. There's Steve Rogers in the number 12. Got Tim Smith's Climax Moonshine on that car. It says Dodge on the back, but on my sheet it says Chevrolet, but it looks like a Stratus, doesn't it?
Joe, that is by all accounts a Dodge Intrepid.
Oh. I am, as you can tell, folks.
I mean, you were close.
This is my flu
yeah,
game
it says
tonight.
Intrepid in teeny tiny letters on the front.
Tonight is my my Michael Jordan flu game, let me tell you. We're having a fun
You
time.
need bigger glasses.
Huh?
You need bigger glasses.
The worst part is when I went to the eye doctor like a month or so ago, my eyes apparently got better.
They're lying.
I think I just didn't do a good job of telling them 1 or 2, 3 or 4, you know?
Glasses are just a myth from the optometrist industry to sell more eyeballs.
Yep. Yeah, because if I take my glasses off, I mean, I can see fine.
Yeah.
You know, there's a purple blob on the on the monitor right now.
The world's actually all blurry like that.
Yeah. It's just some people are gifted with not having to wear things on their face. I used to be a big contacts guy. And then
I was actually just about to ask.
I used to especially like I was working in a factory over the summer, so like contacts with safety glasses works a lot better than safety glasses over normal glasses.
It's funnier looking though.
It is. Let me tell you, those labs where I'd wear the glasses with like the chem, you know, the chem goggles.
Yep.
Yeah, no bueno.
No bueno.
Rad Dad Chad in chat says big 8 Bowl fan. All right, that's 2 for 8 Bowl. How much time we got left here in practice, Ricky?
About 8 seconds, Joe.
Oh, look at that. Perfect timing. Horsey sending it into that outside wall. See Michael Berner in his number 9. Berner Motorsports Wild Child Designs Chevrolet. That's a Camaro. I know that's a Camaro, right, Ricky?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Have you ever driven one of the new, like the, I guess they're not new anymore, but the, you know, the Camaro? Have Have you ever driven a Camaro, Ricky?
I have not, actually.
Let me tell you, the blind spots are awful.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've sat in them.
Yeah.
I've sat in the driver's seat of them, and I'm like, yeah.
You can't see anything. I remember,
Going to qualifying, by the way, Joe.
Yep, I know we're going to qualifying, Ricky. Just having a polite conversation here. You know? I know the fans at home, these are the stories that they tune in for. Us just shooting the you know what. Went on a college visit to or actually no, it was orientation at Clemson University down in South Carolina, and we had to fly into Atlanta. And it was my mom taking me, and she rented like a Prius or whatever, like whatever the cheapest rental car was, right?
Yeah.
Good on fuel because it was a couple hour drive to get up to Clemson, South Carolina. And guy at the checkout counter is like, "All right, here's your keys." They weren't Prius keys, Ricky. They were Chevy Camaro keys. And then somehow had the car in manual mode, trying to get out of the parking lot. So we were going like 40 miles per hour. had to stop in the ramp to put it back into automatic.
That's always fun.
I remember we were pulling into the parking area and hit a curb with the right front rim and just ripped some rubber. And all we did is before we returned the car, we went to Walmart, got some black nail polish, and put some nail polish on the rim because it was like the like the blackout package that they have. It was that. It was an all black Camaro with the blackout wheels and everything.
Joe, how could you do that? I'm reporting you. I'm reporting you to the Used Car Association of America.
That's fine. I drive a Dodge Avenger, man. It's okay.
How dare you? How dare you? I'm reporting you to the Dodge Avenger contingent.
I know you're not a big are you like all of our other folks that we know that like to make fun of my choice in car?
I mean, it is a mode of transportation. If it functions well for you, then it is. I mean, between that and the PT Cruiser, Joe, give me the PT Cruiser any day. At least that's going to last a little longer.
Over the Avenger? The PT had less miles on it when it broke down.
Really?
Than the Avenger has, yeah. This Avenger that I have, I'm pretty sure it was a rental car in its previous life, and it's a Southwest car.
Okay, that's fair.
So,
I mean, that is...
Folks, again, if you live in the Midwest or Northeast,
like,
buy cars from the South.
Of it looks like it is made out of
that's any Stellantis product.
Toys.
That's any Stellantis product, though. Unless you buy like an upgrade.
What's not Stellantis? It's a like Daimler Chrysler like mid bankruptcy.
Well, yeah.
It's not even Daimler Chrysler at that point. It's just Chrysler mid bankruptcy.
People make fun of Chrysler for going bankrupt, but I don't hear people making fun of GM for going bankrupt.
They did make fun of it.
Well, they still should. Because it's funny. And also really sad, because a lot of people lost their jobs.
I mean... Yeah, well, that's the way the Chrysler crumbles. And
also, it plunged my entire state into a really bad recession. Let me tell you.
Well, it's I think Chrysler also I mean GM. How do I put this? GM definitely. Both of them have reasons that you look at them right before they went bankrupt, and you go, "Yeah, I can see why no one was buying these."
Oh yeah.
And that comes from someone that like GMs. Like they were not great. Like right around that whole time period. Like I defy you to find one of like anything made by GM between like 2006 and like 2010, 2005 and 2010 that like has a half decent interior. But Chrysler is just like that times 10.
Yeah, it's a lot of plastic.
Like, do you want a Dodge Caliber?
No.
You want a Dodge Caliber? Do you want a Jeep Compass?
No. Nothing with the Mitsubishi CVT.
Yeah.
No, thank you. I'm good.
You know what's actually speaking of that?
We should
you know
probably
what's
get
funny?
Go ahead.
The Dodge Journey stopped being sold like a year or two ago. I think 2 years ago.
Yeah, like
But they
2020.
were like they weren't being sold to rental fleets. It was being sold as a brand. It was still as like new, like they were still making it.
Yeah.
But it still had the old. I think it still had the old 4-cylinder that like the Compass had. So it wasn't like the newer one. It was like the older version of that engine.
Wasn't the Hurricane?
It still had a 4-speed automatic transmission.
Oh,
And they were making these until like 2021.
well, you know, emissions guidelines. But guess what, Ricky? It's happy hour. That means it's time for you to take us through tonight's starting lineup here for race number 2.
All right. Well, with pleasure to read off the starting lineup, even though you didn't ask me to do it yet, Joe, for tonight's event. 8 cars starting, the same thing that we had last time. Second verse, similar to the first. And starting on pole at a time of 16.242 seconds is going to be Mr. Kyle Lawson in that 6th machine. Lawson making a statement here to be like, I'm not starting in the back again. I want to be up front here. So he's going to be starting on pole. Joining him in the 2nd spot, who'd you guess? Chris Rogers in the 00 machine. 3rd spot looks familiar too. Tate Dorsey in the 4 car gets another great starting position. In the 4th spot goes to Brian Zapier in the 79 machine. In the 5th spot goes to car number 95 of William Beecham. Michael Berner in the 9 starts 6th. In the 7th spot is the 11 of Mike Rogers. And rounding out the field in spot number 8 is the 12 machine of Steve Rogers. And that's going to be your starting lineup for this second race here tonight. 60-lap main event, I guess. B main, A main, A B main. I don't know what you would call it.
He, she, me main.
B main. B. That's all main.
Well, again, folks, can't thank you enough for tuning in to JTN tonight. Make sure if you haven't already, drop a like on the video and subscribe. Be a friend, tell a friend about our streams as well. Again, doing all that really does help support us here on JTN more than you could ever know, really. Also, we're a little greedy and we like it when the numbers are bigger. So, you know, hey, click the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to be notified anytime we go live. And we got a lot of great racing action coming up for you, so you don't want to miss a second of it. You want to make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on. Also have our annual Daytona 500 qualifying stream next week on Wednesday night. So that'll be a fun one, Ricky.
I'm sure you'll have fun. When is that?
Wednesday night.
That's on Wednesday?
Yeah, Daytona 500 qualifying is Wednesday now. Wednesday in prime time.
We used to build railroads, Joe.
We should build railroads.
I don't know how I missed the memo on that being a thing, but... And I'm not saying that like a... I'm not saying that
no,
to be like
I understand.
I just mean like I really don't...
It's been that way for a couple of years now. It's been that way since the pandemic.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, this will be.
Why do I not remember this?
This will be the 3rd year.
My brain is a bit spaghetti tonight. A little better than last night, but spaghetti nonetheless.
I was gonna say it took you, first heat. You're still trying to find your voice, or first race last night. You're still trying to find your voice. It feels like you came out with your voice already here this evening.
Yeah, well, I was also looking at my phone.
What?
I mean, I was also intently watching the race.
The race?
On our from the booth here. I wasn't. I was paying attention. I wasn't really. My attention was absolutely shot yesterday.
Ricky admitting to being unprofessional, just as we are here on JTN.
Yeah, but I'm here. I'm here tonight, and I'm all giddy and full of full of meatballs. I'm not full of meatballs. God, I could go for some meatballs right now. God, now I want pasta.
Are you gonna get on track and retire and stuff so we can get this show on the road?
Nope.
Okay.
Drivers, start your engines.
As there's the command of these 8 cars get fired up here from New Smyrna Speedway. It's gonna be Kyle Lawson leading us to green in the number 6 Valvoline Ford with that 00 Dodge Challenger of Chris Rogers to the outside. Tate Dorsey and Brian Zapier make up row number 2. Row 3, William Beecham and Michael Berner. And rounding out your field of 8, it's going to be Mike Rogers in the 11 and Steve Rogers in the 12. So again, 60 laps here in our second race of the evening. Stars Late Model Series race here from New Smyrna. Field makes their way off of turn number 4. Hit the gas, get there fast. Green flag. We're underway here in race number 2.
Chris Rogers got a great start there, Joe. Going to be side by side with Kyle Lawson coming down the back straightaway. Just a bit of an edge, but Lawson's got the preferred line here coming down to turn 3. Rogers throws it in deep there and keeps a firm hand on the wheel side by side across the line. Kyle Lawson just barely leads that lap.
Battling side by side for the lead there for a whole lap to start this race as Rogers tries to make the crossover work here down into turn 3.
I think Chris Rogers is thinking, this 6 car, I got to start being a little more aggressive with him.
00 a little loose there on entry, slides up the track. Lawson a little further out to the wall, trying to maximize that speed down the back straightaway. Still side by side for the lead. Now Chris Rogers takes over the top spot.
Joe, I said this race, these guys are going to be a little more racy, getting back to those GNS physics. Already seeing it, Chris Rogers taking the point from Kyle Lawson, just muscling him out of the way for that. 6 cars been the class of the field in some of these races, and Chris Rogers as well has been class of the field, so I think we're starting to see a big slugfest between these two guys. Right behind him there, though, Brian Zapier having a great run right now. 3rd spot. We've gotten up to the 3rd spot here, running in line behind these guys. Not running as fast as they are running up here for those first 2 positions, but doing a good job of staying clear of the 9 of Michael Berner here, who's right behind him.
And we saw the 79 struggle one night ago after finishing on the podium in race number 1 on Monday night. Struggled last night, but had a solid run in our first race this evening. Looking to have another good run and showing here in race number 2 tonight. So Zapier there in position number 3, Michael Berner in 4th, and Tate Dorsey in the 4 has fallen back to 5th after starting up in 3rd.
Chris Rogers up front, still hanging on to that lead, Joe, as we're watching that battle. You see the 9 of Berner is starting to get all over the back bumper of the 79.
Got a pair of battles here at the front of the field. 1 for the lead, 1 for 3rd. We take a wide-angle shot to make sure we don't miss a second of the racing action here. Goes back in on this battle for the lead. Lawson just staying right there, staying in the rearview mirror of Chris Rogers in the 00.
Michael Berner's been running about even or faster laps than Zapier. We'll see if Zapier's car starts to come in a little more. It seems like he's starting to gap Berner just a little bit. Tate Dorsey, though, has been running about a second of a lap faster than him. Steve Rogers in 12, same story right behind him. So, not a second, sorry, 10th of a second. Up front, though, the 6 in the 00, basically running identical lap times right now. That is how close this is. Keeping a good 0.3 of a second gap here between Chris Rogers and Kyle Lawson. That time by, though, Michael Berner a little further back in the 9, actually kind of closed back up on Zapier. Both those cars look like their tires are already starting to go away, Joe, here. 12 laps into this run. Already down to 16.8 compared to their fastest laps of the race so far, which is in the 16.5, 16.4 territory.
So at least 0.3 of fall off already, just over 10 laps into this
Yeah,
one.
but the guys up front are still running 16.5s and 16.6s. Kyle Lawson right on the back bumper. Chris Rogers had a great lap last time by. Only a 1/4 of a second behind our leader, actually down to 0.18 seconds. Lawson and Rogers. Looks like the Lawson's car is actually starting to pick up some speed here, Joe. Just ran its fastest lap of the race out there. Both cars ran a very fast lap. 16.514 for Rogers, 16.432 for Lawson, and we are under caution.
Caution for the first time tonight.
For William Beecham.
95 going for a spin here in turns 1 and 2 all by his lonesome.
There you go. These cars are a little looser than those trucks.
Street stocks.
No, street stock. Come
on.
I didn't say that. Whoopsies. Whoopsie woodles.
The whole field going to come down the pit lane here. Get fresh Hoosier Racing tires on their vehicles. See who maybe makes a move at 2, makes a move at 4. You see the 00 trying to angle himself so he can get out of his box. The 6 maybe parking a little shallower. Every little bit of an advantage helps. Got 2 real life racers there at the front of the field. Chris Rogers able to win the race off pit road. Kyle Lawson second out. Tate Dorsey going to come off third. Michael Berner, Brian Zapier, Steve Rogers. Mike Rogers will be seventh, and William Beecham will round out your field here after bringing out our first caution of the night.
Chris Rogers still leading off pit road, but Tate Dorsey, big winner on that. Leapfrogs at 79 and the 9 to get some track position on these guys. Dorsey been running some fast laps compared to these guys, just hadn't been able to get back into that third position after that early race stumbling where everyone kind of got around him. We'll see how that pans out for him this second little stint here. We're already coming up on close to 20 laps here, Joe.
I mean, this race flying by, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's I don't think it's anything surprising for us up here in the booth or the folks at home. Are you surprised?
Yes, no, yes, no. Are you surprised, Joe? Is the question.
You know, I don't know.
The wait around for these guys to get back to the old racing action. I think we'll probably get the one to go here as I come across the line.
Which, remember, is actually 2 to go.
What?
Remember, we don't go back green when the green flag is dropped?
Oh, you're right.
Kind of helps the admin group out here. Got a little extra time, Ricky. You got any good stalling tactics you want to use?
You know what I mean.
Any good stalling tactics?
I like beans.
You like beans?
I like beans. Beans are good.
Okay.
You like beans, Joe?
No. Nope.
I want to take that. Okay, it's gonna leave me hanging. I see how it is.
Well, you asked me a question. I'm not going to lie to you.
Oh, did you say something?
Yeah, I did. I said no.
I didn't hear you.
You never hear
just,
me.
I thought you were just like giving me the silent treatment because you were displeased with my question.
Ricky, I don't think you hear me half the time.
Oh, I heard you.
You'll be like, you'll be talking about something, and then all of a sudden there's a wreck, and I'm like, Ricky, there's a wreck, and you just keep talking.
I see how it is. You're just gonna take turns bullying me.
I have video proof.
Take turns bullying me. I see how it is.
Oh my goodness.
I'm out here trying to be professional, and you're driving a rift between us. The divide has never been greater, Joe.
The divide.
The divide. Coming back green here. Kyle Lawson and Chris Rogers side by side, ready to roll, ready to rumba here. Green flag back in the air.
Chris Rogers there in double zero, dives it down to the inside, washes up in front of the 6. That's going to allow Lawson to try to get down to the bottom here, going down into turn 3. Lawson in the 6 gets to the inside of Rogers in the double zero. A messy restart for Rogers, puts him on.
Dorsey all the way up the track there, used every inch of that asphalt, barely scuffed the wall if he did. Oh, Kyle Lawson almost gets into Chris Rogers. Big save there by the 6 car. Here comes Tate Dorsey to the inside.
A wheelman, to say the least, right now. Kyle Lawson in this number 6. Putting on a show for the fans here at the new Smyrna Speedway and us here in the booth and all the folks at home watching. Lawson sits there in second, trying to do everything to get around Chris Rogers in the double zero. Rogers trying to hold him off, fend him off, and hopefully take home a second checkered flag of the night, trying to sweep the night here after not being able to do so last night.
Not to cut you off there, Kyle Lawson again was... That car was sideways there coming off of turn number 2. Lawson is wheeling it. These guys, it's only 25 to 60 laps here. We're not even at the halfway point. And these guys are really hitting that go switch. I think these two leaders know that they aren't getting away from each other. I think Lawson's just realizing that the only way he's going to get around Chris Rogers here is just to pass him and keep him at bay. They've been doing a pretty good job of keeping everyone else behind him, so I think it's just going to be a slugfest between these two guys out here. But man, what a fight they're having right now. You see Kyle Lawson is looking all over the track trying to find some way by Chris Rogers. Chris Rogers ran the fastest lap of the race last time by, and Lawson's right behind him, both running 16.3s. Side by side here, coming off of two, a dead heat down the back straightaway. Who's going to get an edge here coming off turn 4, Joe?
Lawson takes the lead. Chris Rogers gets loose, loses a bunch of time. Kyle Lawson back to the point after qualifying on pole here tonight. Chris Rogers falls back to second. He'll try to regroup and get back to the rear bumper of car and driver number 6.
Now that's all settled down, Joe. We talked about saving tires here. I don't think either of these guys are really going to be able to have a claim to saving tires after that. They really were putting in some effort there.
Race car drivers, if you ask them if they're doing something crafty, they'll tell you they are.
Yeah. But man, you just see it. Kyle Lawson is just like kicking that car sideways. I don't know where he's getting the car to rotate like that, but it's just like it's just. I think he just found something, Joe. He just ran a 16.366, which is the fastest lap of anyone on track. But Chris Rogers right behind him ran a 16.3, I think 8. I think that last time by. But one thing is very clear, Kyle Lawson is pushing that for all it's worth as it come across the line lap 32.60. 29 laps to go, just past halfway in this race. Laps are clicking away quickly here, and Chris Rogers is trying to keep that 6 car in his sights. Ran a faster lap than the 6 last time by, but only by a hair. We'll see. It's about dead heat that time by. Yo, this is getting a little bit spicy. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it, right? Best short track racing in all of NR 2003. A pretty good claim to be made for the guys here at Excel Racing. They put on fantastic races night in and night out. Remember, you can go to excelracing.net. We have it pinned to the top of the live stream chat to find out more of these guys. They're always recruiting new drivers, looking for more folks to join them here in these special events that are broadcast live on JTN. But, Ricky, I mean, it's what we've come to expect with Excel, right? We all the way starting back with the Battle at the Beach we did in 2021 to New Smyrna Speedweek 2022, Turkey Derby this last year as well, and now New Smyrna Speedweek 2023. The boys here at Excel Racing, they do a fantastic job of driving their butts off, right? But they do so with so much class, a lot of really clean racing. A lot of times if you see someone put a wheel wrong, they're quick to take fault if it is theirs, and you see Burner making a pass there for third. It's just a great group, and when you have a great group, it makes it a lot easier to put on good racing.
Preaching to the choir there, Joe. And speaking of good racing, Chris Rogers has tracked Kyle Lawson down, got that differential, that time difference down to 0.2 of a second. Rogers has been running faster than Lawson this past few laps. We're just talking about, Joe, but Lawson was running that car sideways. Do you think maybe those tires are, maybe he upset the handling on that car? Maybe he used a little too much too quickly there?
It could just be, too, like a driver preference thing, right?
Oh, he really went up the track there. Chris Rogers got his nose to the inside. Chris Rogers almost had a chance there. Kind of let Lawson, gave Lawson a little bit of breathing room to die another day there. But Chris Rogers had a great lap, about a whole 1/10 of a second faster than Lawson last time by, as Lawson kind of slipped up the turn. And, you could really see it. It seems like that 6 car is not getting to the bottom of the track in 3 and 4 like it was previous. And Chris Rogers is starting to use that to his advantage.
It just could be that driver preference thing. Maybe Chris feels a little bit better with the setup. Again, fixed setup here. So maybe Chris feels a little bit better with what he has underneath him right now, maybe compared to Kyle. Maybe this is the part of the run where Kyle's maybe a little less confident in the car underneath them. Or it could be, as you said, the 00 could have saved the tires a little bit better there after the big mistake. Maybe was a little more conservative with the lines he was running, how aggressive he was getting back to the throttle.
Oh, that's 6. Do you see how sideways he gets on that entry?
He's not willing to hang it out.
It gets me like sweating every time he does it, because I'm about ready to be like, oh, he's going around, and nothing's happening.
He is more than willing to hang out that car right now.
It's interesting, a little exchange of ideas here, because it seems like Kyle Lawson really lets that car rotate early in the turn. He's really good on entry here. You can see where he's rotating, but it seems like Chris Rogers is doing a better job of catching that bottom and having a great run off the turn. And you really see it on the straightaway, the front straightaway here, especially how much momentum he has on the 6. You just can't take it anywhere because you can't dive the 6 into turn 1 without taking them both out. Chris Rogers really sideways there. These cars are driving terrible.
Nah, they're driving good, Ricky.
And we're already coming down to crunch time here. Kyle Lawson comes across the line, 47 to 60 laps, 14 laps to go here from New Smyrna. These laps are going away quick. Can Chris Rogers do anything with Lawson? I think if Rogers passes him, that's all she wrote, because he was right there with him. Look at him right in the back bumper of that 6 machine. I think he just doesn't want to take them both out by trying to make this pass at the wrong spot.
I mean, I love what we're seeing right now. This is that short track racing battle that everyone wants to see on a Saturday night under the lights at their local track. You're getting it right here on JTN. Again, be a friend, tell a friend, share the stream, do all that, because these boys, they deserve a big platform. As you said, 12 laps to go that time at the line. Chris Rogers trying to get to the inside of Lawson, just not able to do it, just not enough of a run, Ricky. He's better on corner exit, but not enough to get that right front fender to the inside of the 6.
That is true. As they're coming on by the 11 of Mike Rogers, he was going to let him on by. That is true, Joe, but the thing is, I think that's part of the battle here, is that Rogers just needs to keep that heat on the 6, because if Lawson even slips up a little bit, you see how close Chris Rogers is getting to him. They come across the line. We're going to have 10 laps to go here in this battle, Joe.
TWB 10 to go. Head on over to GardenLightsDirect.com from porches, patios to more. For all your outdoor lighting needs, they have you covered. Again, that's GardenLightsDirect.com, 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 TWB 10 to go. 9 to go that time at the line. We're watching Chris Rogers trying to find a way around Kyle Lawson. These two have been the class of the field all week long. They've won all the races so far of the 4 we've run. Each has taken home 2. Who will gain the upper hand with a victory here in feature number 2 of the night? 8 laps remain.
8 laps to go. Kyle Lawson just right there. You saw right there, 1 and 2 kind of was further up the track. Rogers really hugged that bottom, and he got a great run. Rogers right there. He's got his nose right on the back of that 6. Oh, Joe, it is getting close here.
He's trying.
He is trying. He is gonna make sure that he's got that foot in the door before the end of this. Chris Rogers trying to make his move on Kyle Lawson. Lawson trying to use every square inch of that racetrack to keep Rogers behind him. Rogers keeping it respectable here, though. As he gets into the back of the 6 of Kyle Lawson, Lawson gets loose. Oh, Rogers checks up for him.
Rogers checks up for him. That was a little break given. My bad. I made contact. I don't want to pass you that way. Checks up for the 6. Doesn't run him over. Give him a little extra little shot there on corner exit, but nothing too bad. 5 laps remain.
5 laps to go. Kyle Lawson is driving like a madman right now, trying to keep Chris Rogers behind him. Master of blocking at the moment here as they come across the line for 4 laps to go. Chris Rogers just trying to get that 6 to move. And you can tell he really doesn't want to move Lawson. I don't think he was trying to do that last time by. He's just trying to keep that pressure on him, but man, he's going to come to crunch time here very quickly, though. He's going to have to make a decision on how he wants to get around him as they come across the line for 3 laps to go here from New Smyrna. Who's going to walk away with this? It's been the Chris Rogers and Kyle Lawson show all week, and we see it again here tonight, but man, what a battle.
These two have been the class of the field, as you said, Ricky, all week long. 2 laps to go at the line. Kyle Lawson with the lead. Chris Rogers going to try to mount 1 more charge to try to take a second win here on night number 3. A good run that time off of turn number 2 is going to allow the 00 to have a shot here in the last lap to find a way around the 6. Lawson a little loose there through the center of the corner. White flag is out. Last lap here from New Smyrna Beach as Kyle Lawson looking to take home his 3rd checkered flag of the week, and Chris Rogers trying to do the same thing. Down into turns 3 and 4 we go. Ricky, it's not even going to be a bit.
Can he do anything with him? He won't be able to do it. Kyle Lawson holds him off at the line.
Kyle Lawson takes home the victory here in our second feature of the night. Chris Rogers in second. Michael Berner comes home third. Lawson brings it around. He'll burn it down for the fans here at New Smyrna.
And you can tell, Joe, they wanted to keep that respectable. Chris Rogers had a lot of opportunities there. If you want to really lose that 6, he could have, and you could tell that he definitely wanted to beat him outright by racing. Big props to the 00 team there for being so gentlemanly on that battle for the win there. But Kyle Lawson, great job of holding on to that lead. By all accounts, did not have the car to win this race and held on to win this race.
Held on to take home the victory here in our second feature of the night. Results incoming on your screens. We'll also talk with our podium finishers here in race number 2. Folks, again, cannot thank you enough for watching here this evening. Make sure if you haven't already, drop a like on the video and subscribe. Race 1 results on your screen. Race 2 results incoming. And again, we'll talk with our top 3 finishers here in mere moments. Before we get a chance to talk with them, though, let's get a word from one of our partners, AutoSim2. Have you ever wanted to manage your own racing team? Or what if you could go back in time to see if a particular season could have finished differently? Well, folks, have no fear, because AutoSim2 is here. With fully customizable roster files, you can create your own world or try to recreate the past. Heck, you could even try to predict the future through AutoSim2's Sim Mode. Don't like the passive approach? Well, then get more hands-on in owner mode, where you decide who drives your cars and what companies will sponsor them. Down on your luck? Well, then scout some new talent that will get you to the top. Already super successful? Try moving up the ladder or expanding to truly solidify your racing empire. However you want to play, AutoSim2 has you covered and is now available for purchase through the Steam store for $9.99. Now go make your mark and build your legacy in AutoSim 2. And again, folks, AutoSim 2 is now available on Steam for $9.99. That's such a good price, right, Ricky? I mean,
that's a pretty good price.
Get a fun game. It's fully customizable. You get to do all kinds of really cool stuff. We'll be participating in Steam sales throughout the year as well. That's at least the plan. All things go accordingly. All right, let's get results on your screens. That's what you're waiting for. And let's talk with our top 3 finishers. Let's start with our race winner. He's the driver of the number 6, Kyle Lawson. Kyle, you got a copy?
Yep, I'm here.
All right, third win of the week. Obviously, one of the best battles we've ever seen here on JTN, but how much fun is it to battle with a guy like Chris Rogers in that 00 there? All 60 laps, it was you two there at the front. You both lead you combined to lead all 60. How much fun are battles like that, and how intense are they?
Oh, they get pretty intense, but it's a lot of fun, especially when you can run nose to tail for that long. It's a blast. It's even better when you can run side by side. We do go to a lot of tracks that once we get locked door to door, it's like someone's got to make a mistake, or else we're gonna be locked like it's the rest of the race. But it's a lot of fun to be able to race with somebody like that and be able to give the room and try to capitalize on a mistake versus just run you over.
Well, we saw him make the mistake there. Got into the back of you going down into turn 1. Was that a oh shoot moment for you? I know, obviously, I don't know if cut you the break is the right way to phrase it, but obviously I think he gives you the opportunity to collect the car, and I think a lot of guys that we've seen over the years, they make that initial contact, they're just going to keep driving through you. He does a good thing there. Is that kind of, is that indicative of the respect you two have for each other, racing each other? Anytime we're here, it seems like you and Chris and Michael's up there, and is that just kind of, that respect comes with the familiarity?
Oh yeah, definitely. None of us want to run each other over for a win or run each other over to gain a spot or anything. It's mistakes happen. With inside 10 to go there, I was starting to get a little tight in the center, and I changed up my entry a little bit and the center of the corner, and he caught me, and I mean, he bumped me, and luckily I was able to hang on to it, and both of us didn't have to go to the back. So hopefully, I mean, it's definitely the way we race here. It's I mean, it's a give and take. I mean, who knows? Next week, even tomorrow night, I might get Chris, and I got to do the same thing. You know what I mean? But it's definitely the way we strive to race here at Excel.
Well, you mentioned it there. Tomorrow night, obviously, last race of the week. You're going to go into it with a pretty, I would think, a pretty decent points lead. Does, after the way this week has gone, does that maybe allow you to be a little more conservative tomorrow night? Obviously, we talked with you last night. You talked about how the 100 lappers, the longer races, more in your wheelhouse as a driver. Do you maybe take a more conservative approach tomorrow night, or do you keep going with this? Okay, I'm going to go for the lead. I'm going to try to lead the most laps like you have here because, it's that argument. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Or do you maybe make it a little more conservative there tomorrow night?
Oh no, with these guys, it's a pack of wolves, man. You get trapped back in the field just like you've seen in the street stocks. You get trapped back there, and then here you're thinking that, oh, I can finish second, still win, or third, and next thing you know, 5 to go, you're running 8th. You know what I mean? It's definitely don't let your guard down, because a championship or a week like this, it can slip out of your grasp in a blink of an eye.
Well, Kyle, again, cannot thank you for your time here. Congratulations on the win. Before we let you go, though, I want to give you the opportunity once again. The floor is yours, buddy. You know what to do.
I want to thank you guys at JTN for putting this on. I want to thank Andrew at Track Connections, again, the Rogers family, for everything they do for the league, and all the guys that are showing up and keep supporting it, because we got a good group of guys here, and everybody's picking up the pace, and it's going to be a good year, rest of the year, and hopefully into next year, to where we get top 8 cars running nose tail like that, and it'll be a good thing.
Well, Kyle, again, cannot thank you enough for your time after this one. Congratulations on the win. And again, good luck tomorrow night, trying to close out this week with a championship and one last race win.
Thank you. See you guys tomorrow.
Kyle Lawson, driver of the number 6, your race winner here in race number 2. Let's go ahead and next bring in our second place finisher. He's the driver of the 00, Chris Rogers. Chris, you got a copy?
I got you.
All right, I got to ask you. I asked Kyle the same thing. How much fun are those battles? How intense are they? Because throughout the entirety of this race, it was you and the 6 battling for the lead, nose to tail. How much fun is that? How intense is it out there on the track?
Oh, it's definitely intense. I mean, I'm soaking wet right now. I drove my butt off, and I know he was driving his butt off. Neither one of us left nothing on the table, and that's the way racing should be. To be able to go out there and run nose to tail, side by side with, somebody like Kyle or Mikey, or Dad or anybody. Anybody here is capable of racing like that. We got a really good group of guys, that can put on a really, really good showing, as long as the cards fall right. And it makes it a lot of fun as a driver, to have that tough of competition. It gets frustrating sometimes, because it's like, man, I used to be able to go right by this guy, and now this guy's, racing me for a top 3 finish. But it's also good to see the progression of a lot of the drivers. It's a lot of fun, like I said, to run bumper to bumper and side by side and run that close, that hard the entire race with somebody.
Well, and obviously there you make a little contact with the back of the 6 going down into turn 1. I would call it a show of respect. I think Kyle agreed with us when we were saying that too. You allow him to collect the car. Obviously, Kyle said the same too, and I'm assuming you're going to echo the sentiment that no one wants to run anyone over to make up his position. But with that in mind, we go into tomorrow night. You're going to need to make up some points to try to have a shot at this championship. How aggressive are we going to see you behind the wheel of this 00 tomorrow night with the 100 lapper with the modifieds?
Oh, you're going to probably see the same racing that you saw tonight. The intensity level and the aggression level is going to be up, and not only we racing for a championship, but there's pretty tight blink battles going on all the way through the field. So you're going to definitely see the intensity ramp up tomorrow night, especially being the final night, everybody wants to close out the week in victory lane, especially with the modifieds running a 100-lapper. And you know, the modifieds prove that they've been the fastest division here all week long. So it's definitely going to be an interesting race tomorrow. But it's going to be wild.
Well, you got me grinning ear to ear. If tomorrow's anything like tonight, we're going to have a fun one up here in the booth, and all the fans at home are going to see a great show. Chris, again, congratulations on the second place run here tonight. Before we let you go, though, again, got a lot of great stuff going on here at Excel. Floor is yours. You know what to do. You got that admin hat. You got the driver hat. The floor is yours, buddy.
First and foremost, I just got to thank all these guys that come out here and race week in and week out like this. You know, this isn't just a one-week occurrence where we battle this tight, this hard. We do this every week over here. Whether we're racing the late models or the modifieds, or we're in the Pro Cup cars or the Outlaw late models, or we're racing figure 8 cars, or we're racing dirt cars, it doesn't matter. You know, we race each other that hard every night. If you want in on the action, check us out on the webs, www.xlracing.net. You can peruse through the website and see everything that we have to offer. Click the rules button when you're all ready to make the jump and come out and play with us. Read through the rules all the way to the bottom of that rules page. It tells you everything you need to register and apply to come race with us. Hopefully we can draw some new guys in. We always enjoy racing with different people and people of all skill level. I don't care if you're a 30-year veteran or if you're brand new steering wheel out of the box. You know, even if we try to work with everybody as closely as we can, you know, to get everybody as competitive as what you've seen tonight. So, like I said, if anybody's looking to get into this, brand new driver or not, check us out. We'd love to have you. Definitely got to thank JTN, Joe and Ricky. You guys do a great job up in the booth, and you know everything you do to showcase what we have at Excel Racing here. You know, not many people, you know, get to see week-long events like this. You know, so it's kind of cool that we're able to do this going on the second year. Hopefully, we can make it a yearly thing with JTN. So it's definitely something we're looking forward to when next February comes around. And again, we greatly appreciate everything that you do for us. Got to thank Andrew over at Track Connection and Streamline Graphics. Again, Andrew's made some killer dirt tracks, and he's painted a bunch of cars for us, done some special graphic work for us, and you know, can't thank him enough. He's been a big supporter to the league at least over the last 12 or 13 years. You know, my buddy Dano and Kenny, they're definitely up there looking down on us. I know they're definitely smiling ear to ear. I know they definitely enjoyed that one. I want to thank everybody that came out to the racetrack and everybody that tuned in tonight. You guys definitely seen the best show. Probably one of the best shows of the week. You know, we greatly appreciate you guys coming out. Some of you have been out here all week with you. We got one more night of action-packed racing, so we hope to see you tomorrow.
Well, it's going to be a good one, folks. And again, Chris, cannot thank you enough for all you do for us here at JTN for bringing us out to this race. Congratulations once again on the second place finish here in race number 2 tonight. And good luck tomorrow with that final race of the week, trying to claim a crown and one more trophy.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.
Chris Rogers, driver of the 00, your second place finisher here in feature number 2. Let's go ahead and bring in Michael Berner. He's the driver of the number 9. He's your third place finisher here tonight. Michael, you got a copy?
10-4, I got a copy.
All right, podium finish, good momentum. This is like I don't want to carbon copy my question from earlier, but, you know, late models here in this second race. What more do you think you maybe needed out of that 9 to get up there and duel with the 6 and the 00?
Well, in this race, I particularly need a restart, but probably just basically to keep the tires on. I really burnt my tires up running up behind Tate.
And we saw, you know, that mid-pack there on that restart that we got after the only caution of this race. Things get hectic, right? Everyone's trying to push for everything they can. What is that racing? Is that something that you enjoy as a race car driver? Do you like maybe, you know, being able to get out there and try to throw some hot laps down, race mano a mano with someone? What's kind of your style behind the wheel that you enjoy?
No, I like racing side by side with lap after lap with somebody. But you know, you're gonna burn your tires up doing that. But you know, I enjoy it.
And we look to the modified race tomorrow night. Obviously, you and this 9 team, you've been strong all week long. Couple misfortunes. The first couple races, what is it going to take for you and this team to take home a checkered flag tomorrow night?
Tomorrow's gonna be a longer distance race, so hopefully get up front, get a good starting position, and just tire management, ride along, and see what we got, and just push the car when I need to, and take what as I need, you know.
I hear you. Well, Michael, again, congratulations on the 3rd place finish here. Before we let you go, though, want to give you the opportunity. You got a lot of great partners. The floor is yours, buddy. You know what to do.
First off, I'd like to thank my sponsors, Wild Child Designs, Burner Motorsports. I would like to thank you guys for broadcasting again, and I would like to thank Chris Rogers for giving us a place to race.
Well, Michael, again, as always, cannot thank you enough for your time after this one. Congratulations once again on the 3rd place run, and good luck tomorrow night in that 100-lap feature.
Thank you.
Michael Burner, driver of the number 9, your 3rd place finisher here tonight. Ricky, that's going to wrap up our coverage for night number 3. You get to rest tomorrow night. I'll be back here at the track. For the fans at home, if they see anything like the show they saw tonight, they are going to have a fun time.
They're going to have a fun time indeed. Just tonight was a big blast, and I think these races have been getting better and better the whole week. They were good already, but man, it's been getting crazier the later in the week. Everything's been going. I think everyone's getting crazy, itching for those Friday races, this last little sprint for the championship for this week. But it'll be a fun one, and everyone should tune in because it's going to be a grand old time.
Racing action getting better and better. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a second of it. Click the bell icon to be notified anytime we go live. Again, we'll be live with the Modifieds, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow night. 100-lap feature event. Going to be a fun one here from New Smyrna to cap off a week of racing with Excel Racing. If you want to find out more about Excel, you can go to excelracing.net. We also have their website linked in the video description below or in the live stream chat. Once that's up on replay, you can click it there, or again, you can go to the video description below. Make sure you follow us on all our social media at JoeTowNetwork on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, right here on YouTube, and then also make sure you go over and subscribe to JTN2, which is your home for all of our non-live content, or at least full-length episodes of the Fake Racers podcast. Clips coming out here on the main channel, shorts as well, so check out those on your YouTube Shorts feed. And I think that's about all the promotion we have here at the end of the show. Cannot thank you folks enough at home for tuning in. For all of us here at JTN, for Bristol, our producer, for Ricky Collette, I've been Joe Twansky. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time live right here on JTN. So long for now, folks. Yeah, and they're going to be 3 wide coming to the checkered. Never mind, they're going to be... Oh! Turn 4 into the triangle. Whitehill is through the grass. It's going to be Noah Joyce winning his first career race in the Red Bull Cup Series.
Off the ride and a wreckage behind him. The cars flying everywhere. Cars upside down. It doesn't matter. Noah Joyce has done it. He's won at Daytona in the 3 car.
Behind, they're going to be side by side again. Contact there between Sinner and Bordeaux for third.
Contact! Oakley into the wall. That's going to be Jack Healy coming to the line.
Jack Healy